How to take your steering lock wheels off your Porsche, step by step. Let's go. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're working on the Carrera GTS. I'm going to show you how to mount and demount the Porsche center lock wheels step by step, as well as going over all the tools you're going to need. So let's go. All right, the first thing we're going to do is pop the front trunk and look inside. All right, in the front trunk here in the lower left, you're going to have a little flap. You're going to pull this back, pull this up. You're going to have your center lock wheel pretty much socket to take off and put on the center lock wheels. And the tools for today are going to include a 3/4 inch drive breaker bar, which is, I think it's 3 feet long, as well as a 3/4 inch drive torque wrench. Optionally, what you can do is use one of these 3/4 inch drives digital torque meters, which can go on the end of your breaker bar, kind of like this. And you can set the torque. You can set the torque on this device right here. So what you would just do is just turn this on, set your torque. Once this beeps, that's the foot-pound and the torque that you'll need to set the wheel. Once again, here is the socket that you're gonna need to take off and put on the wheel itself. This will be torqued to 443 foot-pounds. All right, since this breaker bar is around 41 inches long, 41 inches divided by 12 inches, it's around 3.4 feet. So 443 foot-pounds divided by 3.41 is around 130 foot-pounds of torque that we'll have to apply at the end of that handle to go knock the center lock nut loose. All right, step number one is gonna be to remove this the center cap right here. So I get a little pick and pry tool. What I'll do is just pop it in here. Okay, you see the little ridge right there that goes in. Also keep in mind that when you go to put this back on, you're gonna have a little key tab right there, which is gonna go right there as well. Step number one, we're gonna go attach the center lock socket to my breaker bar. All right, we're gonna go put the center lock socket on the wheel. What I like to do is pretty much get this breaker bar as parallel to the ground as possible. And you're gonna wanna use your legs to kind of push up against the floor to rotate this loose. So all you wanna do. All right, so what you can see here is that the wheel is slipping. So we need to go apply the brakes to stop the wheel from slipping. I'll show you that right now. All right, if you're working alone, you're gonna need a Porsche part number DAS Solo 982 and a clamp, and what you're gonna do with this clamp is pretty much take this end off right here. Okay, slide this all the way down. You're gonna make a reversible push style clamp now. Go ahead and put this on. Now you're gonna use this board and this reverse clamp to go push on the brake pedal. And as you can see here, the brakes are being pushed on by this clamp right here, this reverse style clamp. One part's going on the brake pedal, the other's on this piece of wood and the seat. All right, go attach the center lock socket onto the wheel. Make sure the bar is pretty much level. And all you wanna do is just loosen this center lock, maybe like 10 or 15 degrees. All right, one more issue. So now, get your wheel lined up, put the steering wheel lock on, and now reattach your socket, okay? And with your legs, loosen the nuts a tiny bit. Okay. All right, that's loose, but not totally off. Now go around to each wheel and loosen the center lock, maybe 10 or 15 degrees. Once again, I'll use like a right angle dental pick to get into this little groove right here. You wanna be careful with this edge right here. So this is pretty much like aluminum, and you can pretty much bend this aluminum housing backwards, kind of like a tin can. So ideally, you can get under this little black tab here. And just in case you need some more torque, you can actually take the handle off your floor jack and slip it onto your long breaker bar, just like this, for more leverage. Okay, all right. Whew. Whew. That is no joke. Okay, that's feeling loose, or all the way around. All right, guys, I highly recommend getting a cheater bar for your breaker bar because these things are on there. All right, with every center lock loosened slightly, now we can put the car in the air and take the wheels off.
I highly recommend buying some quick jacks to lift your car in the air. It's the fastest, easiest, and safest way to do it over the years that I've found.
All right, and today we're gonna use the quick jack system to raise the car up. I'm gonna go to the first latch and that's it. All right, now we can finish taking off the wheels. All right, we are at the front left wheel. What I like to do is take my drill. I put a 1/2 inch adapter on there, set it up to a 3/4. I'll then put it on here. And now while holding the wheel with my foot, slowly remove the cap now, just like that. Okay, great. Now, since my foot's here, all I'm gonna do is just slide. All right, so you can see here, this is the actual center lock, okay? Here are the threads of engagement that go inside this female threading right here, okay? Here is your kind of like alignment teeth as well in there. So once again, here's your socket, goes on here, okay? In case this gets stuck, you can push on this from right here to go ahead and release it. Let's go do the other 3 wheels. Okay, holding the wheel with my foot, my left foot right here. Doesn't come down. Give it a little shimmy and we'll slide the wheel off. So these red things right here are what actually go into the wheel itself and kind of keep it held in place so that you have some time to go and thread the center lock itself on. Now I do use a drill because it's no impact. So these center locks, you cannot use an impact on them. So using a drill for that final finish is okay. All right, for putting the wheel back on, we're gonna take a paper towel and kind of just clean off this conical surface right here. All right, here's the center lock itself. We're gonna take a paper towel and kind of just wipe off the anti-seize that's already on these threads. Around here you can see all that on there. Okay, this conical surface right here, we're also gonna wipe it down just like that. Okay, perfect. All right, and now we're gonna take an aluminum-based anti-seize and just kind of put a couple dots around this cone surface, also on some of these threads here as well. So let's do a light coating on these threads, these male threads, and then I'll take a paper towel and kind of just put it all around this cone surface lightly, just like this. And I'm also gonna go wipe the male threads as well, just like that. Okay, don't need a lot, because if you do a lot, once your wheels get hot and the hubs get hot, a lot of this anti-seize is actually gonna bleed out of the wheel. Perfect. Now it's ready to go back onto the car. Now this is your safety lock spring right here. So what this is gonna do is make sure that this center lock can never come off, even if it starts to loosen itself. So watch this. So as we go to, let's say the wheel's in the car right now, and we go and tighten this down, wait for the click. That click right there, okay? I cannot take this off without pushing on this center spring lock right here. So I push that in, now I can remove the center lock itself. So this is a good fail-safe way to make sure that your wheels will never fall off, even if you do lose some torque over time. So if this spring does not work, you're gonna have to replace this. This is kind of like your backup safety mechanism for the center lock. All right, and for putting the wheel back on, we have all of these holes here in the back of the rim and these little boss protrusions here to go into those recessed holes. So all we're gonna do is just lift up on this, okay? Perfect. I'll put my left foot under the wheel. I'll take my center lock. I'll start to thread it by hand. I like to go in reverse first to catch that first thread. Yep, caught the first thread. I'll start that. I'll then grab my drill. That is pretty much seated down. Now we're gonna go torque this down to 443 foot-pounds. I've got my big torque wrench here set to 443 foot-pounds. Okay, and now what I wanna do is lift up on the torque wrench rather than push down. Okay, we seem to have a small problem. As I'm going to torque the wheel nut here, I'm actually lifting the car backwards off of the quick jacks itself. So what I'm gonna do is put a jack underneath the engine. All right, I'm gonna put this bottle jack underneath the rear of the car so that when I go to torque this wheel on, we don't rock the car off of the quick jacks. It's gonna go, the rear of the car is gonna go balance onto this bottle jack right here. And here's that bottle jack underneath the oil pan itself, on the edge of the oil pan and not the middle, so that we can go torque the front wheel. All right, with the rear of the car stabilized, now we can go ahead and continue torquing this wheel. All right, that's all we needed. That's 443. Now one thing to do right now is that you actually have to loosen the wheel 90 degrees. So right here is 0, come down to 90, and now we're gonna go tighten the wheel one more time to 444. 443. All right, that's the proper procedure for tightening the wheel. Now we're gonna go around to all 4 corners, do the same thing. Tighten to 443, loosen to 90 degrees, retighten it to 443, and now we're gonna drop the car on the ground, drive around for 30 miles, and we're gonna go check the torque one more time for 443 foot-pounds. And one tip I'm gonna suggest real quick is that with this ratcheting torque wrench, this is your little locking ball right here that locks onto the center lock socket itself. What I would do, here's the center lock socket right here. Here's the hole. Line this hole with that ball. So what you might find is that it's really hard to remove the center lock socket after you're done torquing the wheels. So what you can do is then put like a pin in there that'll push that ball down, and you can go pull this right off. All right, guys, that's how you remove and install your center lock wheels in your Porsche. If you have any questions at all, put in a comment below. I'm happy to respond back. If you're looking for any tools in the videos, they're going to be linked in the description below. Consider subscribing, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.
Hey guys, thanks for watching today. If you want a nice black 100% cotton t-shirt in either black or white, you can head over to my clothing store link below. It's through a company called Fourth Wall. To be honest, I'm only selling things I don't want to wear myself, which includes just plain black and white t-shirts, which you can see right here. If you want to be a really OG gangsta supporter, you can get some DasCayman swagoo. Alternatively, if you want to support the channel with my Patreon, we love that as well. Entry tier gets your name advertised and a press support shout out in each video. And other tiers even go up to private one-on-one phone calls giving advice related to either cars, life, or advancing your career. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.